All right, guys. So for this step, we're going to be setting up the parser rules. Now, this can be, I won't say complex, but it can be a little bit, I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you, a lot of to-dos here. So to keep this video a little bit shorter, rather than having a half-hour long video on how to set up parser rules, uh, I've already got my parser rules set up in this mailbox here. So this is what we're going to use. I'm going to start from entering some information about an address, and then we're going to receive the email into here, and then we're going to look at the parser rules that are already set up. And what I'll do is I'll tell you to pause the screen every once in a while, so you can pause the screen and then create. Hopefully, you can create a second window next to my window, and you can make your rules just like mine. So that will be the idea of this video. So every once in a while, I'll tell you to go ahead and pause. And then when you're done creating your rule, on pause and we'll move on. All right. So here, let's get going. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at uh, some new information. So just from my own website, I'm going to fill out my own form here. And I'm just going to use my name. I'm going to say Joe Ford. And then my email, I'm actually going to use my real email. And you all know my phone number, so there you go. If you ever want to text me any questions, that's my phone number. It's a house and 6 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, 3 Bridge Court. This is actually my home address, and yes, it is a 6 bedroom, 5.5 bathrooms. We have 4 kids, and we put a bathroom in the basement for our rec room, and never have too many bathrooms. All right, and I'm just going to say test. Submit. All right, fingers crossed. All right, it looks like it submitted successfully. And so now I'm going to come over here and refresh and see if this increased to 5. Sure did. Okay, so now I'm going to click into the mailbox. And, well, come on. It is not wanting to play along with me here. No. All right, I'm back. I just had to make the screen look a little better for you guys here. Okay, as you can see right here, here's the new one that came in. And you can see I've already got, see right here, name, tracked email, real email, phone, address, city, zip, bathrooms, and bedrooms. Uh, these are all my rules. So all this information has been parsed out for me. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how these parser rules were created. All right. When you're just starting, you won't have any of these right now. Okay. But for now, but this is the information we're going to parse out of it. So over on the left hand side, you click rules. All right. And once again, here's all those things that I've parsed out. What you'll do is you'll hit add parsing rule. Okay. And when you hit add parsing rule, when I click on this, okay. And so here's what you want to do. And you're going to want to hit body, because we're pulling the information out of the body, and you're going to hit plain text. For these, it's just easier for plain text. Now, down here in these yellow boxes is what the parser has, how the parser is reading your email. Now, hopefully you have some nice division marks from the form. My form's nice enough to give me these little vertical lines characters that really help uh, divide up the information. Uh, and then so that's how it does. And then you come down here, and then what you're going to do is when you come down here, there's going to be an add text filter. Okay. And that's your rule. The text filter is essentially the rule. Okay. So when you add a text filter, for this rule, it is find a beginning point. So set, start, and end position. So find start position. Okay, and then it's the text match after, and then I put in that line. And I don't want to keep this, so I'm going to delete that. But so that's find start position, and then text match after line, and then you want to get rid of remove blank spaces, so that you can clean up the name. So now that's a blank space. Now you want to find the end. Now you want to find the end, and so just end of line, and all of a sudden you've got the name parsed out. So you say okay, looks good, and you name it. I just named it name. Okay. Then you hit validate and save, and you're done with that rule. Then you'll go through and you'll do the same for tracked email. And so now the tracked email, why I track the email is if you use a CRM, and they come through it, sometimes they'll have a CRM email that uses it for tracking. That's what this is for. And in this case, it didn't come through since it didn't come through the CRM. But that's what this rule is for. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this rule. You can see that these rules become pretty easy and it's intuitive to set up. So I think you're going to grasp this pretty fast, guys. And in this one, I used just the subject because it came from the subject line of it. So subject, and then I text find the start position. I had the hyphen, so I was able to use that. I got rid of the blank spaces. My final result was the email I was able to validate and save. And then there you are, tracked email. Now the real email. So this one, once again, let's take a look at it from the subject line. Oh, it's the exact same. It's actually the exact same rule. So not sure why I have it doubled up under two different names on that one. So I guess we don't need to worry about that. Might be a residual from an old automation. All right, then the phone number. This is a different line of the form. So once again, we're back to the body, plain text. Okay, and here's our phone number. So a couple different ways of doing it. You could do so. So what I did is find the start position, text match, test match after. So what I did here, actually, guys, and this is kind of a simple way of doing it. You can, I'll come back out here to rules. What you can do is if you go in order, see, we've already done the name. You can duplicate the name, and then you can come in and you can just add to the bottom of that rule. And that's what I did here. And so that's a way of doing it. There's other ways of doing it, but that was a quick way of doing it. So I just duplicated it, came in here, and I found okay. So the end of that rule was down here, and then I did a text match after I did. So now it's text matching after that second line comes down, and then it grabs out that phone number. Okay, and at this point, if you want to right about here, go ahead and pause so you can do that. Welcome back. And now you just go down and you do it again. Get rid of that trailing blank space. And then you grab the number. And down here, all here, validate. I'm not sure where all this stuff came from. I think these are just residuals from past automations, and it didn't do anything. And so we just left it. We just left it alone. So validate and save phone number. You don't need all these extra steps down here because they're very redundant, and I can't remember exactly why these are in place. Probably just because these redundants were in from other steps, and so we just on the phone number. Okay, that's why. So you do have some of the stuff on the phone number. In Zapier, it does not like these parentheses when you're putting. So we had to get rid of the parentheses. So that's what these steps are for. So just replace, leave it blank. Text replace that, leave it blank, gets rid of them. Text replace, and then for blank space, add the hyphen, and then we have the hyphens. And then we get rid of the trailing blank spaces if there's spaces. And then and we have a couple of duplicates here. But anyways, validate and save phone. You're good to go on the phone number. I think you're kind of seeing how this works now. So here for the address, we just duplicated it again and came down and found, so we get down to the end of the first one and we find the property address. And in this case, I was using, um, these has spacers, so I just kept putting rules in to the spacers until I got to what I want. Now I will tell you, I set this up. This was a very early automation I did, and so I will tell you the easier way of doing this now. I haven't changed it because it still works. However, the easier way of doing this would be just to simply say, um, if you come up here and you scroll down your data for your address, what I would do is I would simply say text mess text text match text match after, then I would type in property address, and then everything after would come up, and then I would duplicate this one more time, and then I do the line, and then you'd have your address, and then I would do your endpoint end of line. I would get rid of your spaces, and then you would have it, and you could be all the way down to this step at that point for address. That would be the much cleaner way of doing this step. A little more advanced than I used to do, um, but you can see there's, you don't have to be a pro at this to get through it any way you want to cut through it. Like I said, this is super intuitive, guys. You can't mess it up. Even if you mess it up, you just delete the step and try again. Okay. So I think you guys are getting it. You can parse all this stuff out. Now, let's talk about bedrooms. The bathrooms aren't quite as important. You're going to want them, but the for the rental meter API, bedrooms are the big thing. So let's make sure we all know how to get this data. So from your form, you find the bedroom data. I did it again, and like I said in that last one, what I would do on this one is actually I would do a text match text match. I can't say it. I keep wanting to say text match. I must be hungry. Text match after. Then I would say number of bedrooms. Just type that in exactly, and then I would do this exact one. Text match after vertical line, and then get rid of the trailing blank spaces, and then be ready to hit validate and save, name it as bedrooms, and you would have your parsing rules set up. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a call or send me an email or send me a text, guys. Well, I said that twice, but I'll be willing. I'll do my best to help you out. I hope this makes some sense, and that is how you set up your parsing rules in Mail Parser. Once again, it's pretty intuitive, guys. You can play around with it for a half hour and probably figure it out better than what I just explained it.